discussed about test on bushings. Okay, high voltage test bushings. In last class, I have explained about power factor voltage test. Okay, today we shall discuss about the other that is the internal or partial discharge test. Okay, this test is intended to find the deterioration or failure due to internal discharges cast in the composite insulation of the bushing. This is done by using internal or partial discharge arrangement. The voltage versus discharge magnitude as well as the quadratic rate gives an excellent record of the performance of the bushing in service. They are saying that this why we test to know or to find the failure due to what? Due to internal discharges caused in the composite insulation of the bushing. Okay, to find out the failure. Okay, because due to what? Due to internal discharges, it is caused in the composite insulation of the bushing. Okay, this is done by using a internal or a partial discharge arrangement. Okay, the voltage versus discharge magnitude as well as the quadratic rate gives an excellent record for the performance of the bushing in service. This is now a routine test for high voltage test bushings. Next is momentary withstand test at high power frequency. This is done as per the Indian standard specification, that is IS 2099, applied to the bushings. The test voltage is specified in the specifications. The bushing has to withstand without flashover or puncture for a minimum time, that is 30 seconds. To measure the what? To measure the voltage. They are saying that the test voltage is specified in the specifications. For every equipment, if you take any transformer or motor, they will give the specifications. Okay, it should be tolerance. They will give tolerance to withstand capacity of the equipment or any. If you take any equipment or anything, they will give the specification and withstand capacity. Okay, the tolerance they will give. The bushing has to withstand without flashover or puncture for a minimum time, that is 30 seconds, to measure the voltage. At present, this test is replaced by the impulse withstand test. Okay, this test, momentary withstand test at power frequency, as replaced by the impulse withstand test. 1 minute wet withstand test at a power frequency. This is the most common and routine test used for all electrical apparatus, that is 1 minute wet and dry voltage withstand test. In wet test, voltage specified is applied to the bushing mounted as in the service with the rain arrangement. They are saying that wet test, in test in name only it is a wet test. Okay, they are saying voltage specified is what they have. For if you take any equipment, there will be specified voltage. Okay, voltage specified is applied to the bushing mounted as in service. It is in the service with the rain arrangement. Okay, the equipment should be wetted, so they have made the rain arrangement as described. A properly designed bushing has to withstand the voltage without flashover for 1 minute. Okay, this test really does not give any information for its satisfactory performance in service, but while impulse and partial discharge test give more information. Okay, this test will not give more information or any information, but when you take impulse and partial discharge test, it will give a more information. Next, visible discharge test at power frequency. This test is intended for determining whether the bushing is likely to give radio interference in service When the voltage specified in IS 2099 is applied, no discharge other than that from the arcing horns or grading wings should be visible to the observer in dark room. The test arrangement is the same as that of withstand test, but the test is conducted in the dark room. Okay, it is similar to withstand test, but it is conducted in dark room. Next is impulse voltage. In impulse voltage, there are different types. Okay, again, in impulse voltage test, full wave withstand test, the bushing is tested for either polarity voltages as per the specifications. They are saying that the bushing is tested for either polarity voltages as per the specifications. 5 consecutive full waves of standard waveform are applied. Okay, while applying waveform, 5 consecutive full waves, okay, full waves of standard waveform we will apply. If 2 of them cause flashover, in out of 5, if 2 of them cause flashover, then the bushing is said to have a failed in the test. Okay, that is what, if only one flashover occurs, then 10 additional applications are done. Okay, if only one flashover occurs, 10 additional applications we can 10 additional applications are done. The bushing is considered to have a passed the test if no flashover occurs in subsequent applications. Next, chopped wave withstand and switching surge test. The chopped wave test is sometimes done for high voltage testing, that is 220 kV and 400 kV and above. Okay, chopped wave test is sometimes done for what? High voltage test bushings, that is 220 kV, 400 kV and above. Switching surge flashover test of specified value is nowadays included for high voltage test bushings. The tests are carried out similarly to full wave withstand test. Next is a thermal test. In heading only it is a thermal. Okay, thermal means temperature. Temperature rise of thermal stability test. The purpose of these tests is to ensure that bushing in service for long does not have any excess temperature rise and also does not go into the thermal runaway condition of the insulation used. Okay, temperature rise test is carried out in a free air with the ambient temperature below 40 degrees Celsius at a rated power frequency what? 50 Hz AC current. Okay, the steady temperature rise above the ambient air temperature at any part of the bushing should not exceed 45 degrees Celsius. Once again, I repeat, temperature rise test is carried out where? It is carried out in a free air with a what? With an ambient temperature below 40 degrees Celsius at a rated power frequency, that is 50 Hz AC current. Okay, the steady temperature rise above the air temperature, that is at any part of the bushing, if it should not exceed a 45 degree Celsius. Okay, the test is carried out for such a long time till the temperature is substantially constant. Okay, the test is carried out for long time. The temperature should be constant. Okay, the increase in temperature rate is less than 1, that is degrees Celsius per hour. Sometimes the bushings have to be operated along with the transformers of which the temperature reached may exceed 80 degrees Celsius. This temperature is high enough to produce a large dielectric loss and thermal instability. Okay, they are saying that sometimes the bushings have to be operated along with the transformer. At that situation, it will reach to 80 degrees Celsius. At that situation, it will produce a large dielectric loss and also thermal instability will cause. Okay, For high voltage test bushings, this is particularly important. When you consider the high voltage test bushings, this is important for that. Okay, and hence the thermal stability test is done for bushing rated for 132 kV and above. Okay, this test is carried out with the bushing immersed in oil at a maximum temperature as in service. They are saying that the test is carried out with the bushing immersed in oil at a maximum temperature as in service. The voltage applied is 86% of the nominal system voltage. This approximately square root of 2 times the working voltage of the bushing, and hence the dielectric losses are about double the normal value. Okay, when you the test is carried out, how once we carried out the test is carried out in a free air. This is a temperature rise test. Okay, this test, the test is carried out with the bushing immersed in the oil at a maximum temperature as in a service. Okay, and the voltage applied is what? And the voltage applied is 86% of the nominal system voltage. This approximately square root of 2 times the working voltage of the bushing, and hence the dielectric losses are about double the normal value. The additional losses account for the conductor ohmic losses. It has been considered unnecessary to specify the thermal stability test for oil impregnated paper bushings of low ratings. This is for different, okay, oil impregnated paper bushings of low ratings. But for the large high voltage test bushings, the losses in the conductor may be high enough to outweigh the dielectric losses. It may be pointed out that thermal stability tests are type test. Okay, thermal stability tests are type test, but in the case of large sized high voltage test, it may be necessary, it may be considered as routine test. Okay, when you consider for high voltage, it is a routine test. Below the low high voltage, it is a type test. Okay. Next is high voltage test on circuit breaker and also isolator. Why we need to high voltage test on circuit breaker and also isolators is covered, giving common characteristics for both, because while these characteristics are directly relevant to the testing of circuit breakers, they are not much relevant as far as the testing of isolators are considered, since isolators are not used for interrupting high currents. Okay, isolators are not used for interrupting high currents. At best, they interrupt small currents of the order of 0.5 amps for rated voltage of 40 to 420 kV and below, which may be the capacitive current of bushings, bus bars, etc. In fact, the definition of an isolator or disconnector, okay, the isolator is nothing but disconnect. Okay, it will disconnect. Isolator or disconnector is a mechanical switching device which provides in the open position and isolating distance in accordance with the special requirements. And an isolator is a cable of opening and closing a circuit with when either negligible current is broken or made, or when no significant change in the voltage across the terminals of each poles of the isolator occurs. This will act like a switch. This will act like a switch. In forward, it will open. If everything in condition is normal, then it will be connected. Okay, it will be in the closed. It is also capable of carrying current under normal circuit conditions and carrying for a specified time current under abnormal conditions such as the short circuit. Okay, most of the discussion here is refers to the high voltage test, so they use the circuit breaker and also isolator. High voltage test on circuit breaker and isolator is intended to evaluate the constructional and operational characteristics, electrical characteristics of the circuit which the switch or breaker has to interrupt or make. Okay. The different characteristics of a high voltage test on circuit breaker and isolators or a switch may be summarized as the following groups. First is the electrical characteristics which determine the arcing voltage, the current chopping characteristics, the residual current, the rate of decrease of conductance of the arc space, and the plasma and the shunt effects in the interruption. This is what the electrical characteristics which determine. Okay. Other physical characteristics, that is other physical characteristics including the media in which the arc is extinguished, the pressure developed or impressed at the point of interruption, the speed of an contact travel, the number of breaks, the size of the arcing chamber, and the materials and configuration of the circuit interruption. You already know about the circuit breaker and also types of circuit breaker. What is the operation of circuit breaker, how it works. Okay, the main intention of circuit breaker and also isolator is to interrupt or disconnect. Okay, it will trip the when if any fault occurs, it will isolate. Okay, it will isolate or it will disconnect. The characteristics of the circuit include the degree of electrical loading normally generated or applied voltage of the fault, that is type of fault in the system which the breaker has to clear. Okay, the type of fault in the system which the breaker has to clear, the time of interruption, the time constant, the natural frequency, and the power factor of the circuit, the rate of rise of recovery voltage, and the restriking voltage, the decrease in AC component of the short circuit current, degree of asymmetric, and the DC component of the short circuit current. These are the characteristics of the circuit. Okay, the characteristics of the circuit include these things. Okay, next to assess the above factors, the main test conducted on the circuit breaker and also isolators, that is dielectric test or over voltage test and temperature rise test, mechanical test, short circuit test. First, dielectric test lightning and switching impulse voltage. Tests are done for both internal and external insulation with switch or in both open and closed positions. In the open position, the voltage levels are set and the voltages used when decreasing position. In the open position, the voltage levels are 50% higher when it is in open position. Okay, the test voltage levels are 15% higher than the test voltages used when the breaker is in closed position. As such, there is always the possibility of line to ground flashover. To avoid the high voltage test on circuit breaker and isolator is mounted on insulators above the ground. Hence, the insulation level of the body of the circuit breaker is raised. Impulse voltage test, that is impulse test with lightning impulse wave of standard shape or done in a similar manner as in the case of insulators. In addition, that the switching surge test with switching over voltage are done on high voltage test on circuit breaker and also isolators. And isolators to assess their performance under over voltage due to switching operations. Temperature wise and mechanical tests are type tests on circuit breakers are done according to the specification. Next is short circuit. The most important tests carried out on circuit breaker are short circuit tests because since these tests assess the primary performance of the device, the ability to safely interrupt the fault currents, the main working of the circuit breaker, that is the main intention of the circuit breaker is to interrupt the fault currents or interrupt the fault. Okay, this short circuit test will check the ability to safely interrupt the fault currents. This test consists of determining the making and breaking capacities at various load currents and rated voltages. In the case of isolators, the short circuit tests are conducted only with the limited purpose to determine the capacity to carry the circuit current for a given duration, and no breaking or making current test is done on isolators. The different methods of conducting short circuit tests are: first is direct test and second is synthetic test. Using a short circuit generator as a source, and next is using the power utility system or a network as a source. First we shall discuss the fields. High voltage test on the circuit breaker and also isolators are sometimes tested for their ability to make or break the circuit under normal load conditions or also under short circuit conditions in the network itself. This is done during limited energy consumption or when the electrical energy is diverted to the sections of the network which are not connected to the circuit under test. Okay, these are done during period of limited energy consumption or when the electrical energy is diverted to other sections of the network which are not connected to the circuit under test. Okay, advantages of field test are: high voltage test on circuit breaker and also isolator is tested under actual conditions like those occur in a given network. Special applications like breaking currents, very short line faults, interruption of small inductive currents, etc., can be tested by direct testing only. To assess the thermal and dynamic effects of short circuit currents, that is to study applications of safety devices, to revise the performance test procedure, etc. The disadvantage of this is the circuit breaker can be tested at only a given rated voltage and a network capacity. The necessity to interrupt the normal service and to test the only at a light load conditions. Next is direct testing in short circuit test laboratory. In order to do the and also the schematic of short circuit laboratory is the schematic elements of a short circuit testing laboratory. Okay, short circuit testing generator, master or backup breaker, reactor, making switch, and test device, current transformation, circuit capacitor. It consists of a short circuit generator in association with a master circuit breaker, resistors, reactors, and measuring devices. A make switch initiate the short circuit. A make switch will initiate the short circuit and will master circuit breaker isolates the test device from the source at the end of the predetermined time set of on a test sequence controller. Also, the master circuit breaker can be if the test device fails. Okay, they are saying that if any test breaker the induction motors as available. Next is a synthetic testing on a circuit breaker. This I will explain in the next class. Okay.